So this is the Season 3.5 tier list. I think most people would probably agree with the hero distribution I've got here. Now, the reason why I've got this in the video is because what we're going to do is take a look at the potential meta impact of the changes for Season 4. Now, this will be actually crucial knowledge because you'll be able to get clued up and actually see what heroes are going to be stronger or weaker as a result of the changes in Season 4. So I'm going to leave this here and we're going to go into the training range on the test build of the game so I can show you the changes and we can discuss this and the kind of the impact this is going to have. I'm not going to do a new tier list because I think that's kind of stupid because, well, we need to play the game in Season 4. This video isn't a Season 4 tier list. It's a Season 4. Let's be aware of what the meta changes are to the heroes and who's going into the season with a potentially big boost and who isn't. I think one thing I will say before we go off this, though, is you can see that I've put Angela in A tier. I'm not sure what to do with Angela because, well, I'll explain in a moment, but I'm just going to leave her there in A tier. I think what we're looking at here, though, is pretty much a strong distribution of the state of the heroes in Season 3.5. Now, some of these heroes will go down, some of them will go up. But like I said, we can't actually work that out just yet. But what we can do is discuss the changes. So let's go over and do that right now. All right, then, let's start with Angela. So there are a few things to be aware of with Angela. Firstly, she doesn't do a lot of damage. Now, you're not going to be playing Angela and posting massive damage figures. In fact, I'm going to be very surprised if that's the case. Instead, what she is a very disruptive tank. Now, I think the way to view her is on certain maps, she's going to be incredibly strong. If there's the chance of an environmental kill, Angela is going to be absolutely insane. Because she's just going to be able to launch you off the map, right? There's tons of maps where environmental kills are dead easy to get with a little boop. Angela has got a boop on tap, and she's very mobile. I mean, look how fast she is. She can also tank quite a lot of damage as well. So this lets her get into the positions to do what she needs to do. And we're going to kill this guy now. Just goodbye. You can do stuff like that and then get away. You're like very mobile, very maneuverable, and you've got like a one-shot on certain maps. So I think what we're going to see with Angela is less of a just play her in every single game. It doesn't matter because there's going to be better hero selections than, you know, what she offers. Like when she's not poking people off the map. I think that's the most diplomatic way to say it. What I will say, though, if you're a tank player, you're going to need to put her into your arsenal because, like I said, if you can take someone off the map, it's going to be so powerful. There's also going to be like meta evolution with her where we're going to see players get like, do you basically go after the enemy tank, which is probably going to be the main thing you want to, you know, boop around. Either throw them off the map or throw them into your team and highly displace them. Or you want to start going into the back line and grabbing, like, I don't know, their supports, messing around with their DPS or whatever. I don't know. We're going to have to wait and see. Because, you know, think of a team fight breaking out. You could be flying around, you know, doing whatever. You get towards the back here. You grab one of their players, lob them into your back of your team. And actually, I should be doing the combo as well because you can poke. Like, do a mega poke. And as you throw them, you can poke them. So, yeah. She's very disruptive, but I don't think she's going to go straight in as like an S tier tank because she doesn't have that moment-to-moment strength, I think. She's just very good at one thing, and she's going to be really good at that one thing. All right, let's move on. So Cap, to be honest, there's not really much of a change here. Cap just loses 5% extra damage, which is what he got from being a team-up anchor. He doesn't have that anymore, so he just does 5% less damage. I still think he's still going to be... he's still going to be Cap, right? If you're good with Cap, you can still use him in every single way. And I honestly don't think this is going to really impact his... I don't think it impacts his meta placement at all. He'll basically just remain where he is, I think. I'll be very surprised if anything changes. So Cap's basically the same. So Doctor Strange, again, doesn't really change too much. Now, they are nerfing his survivability. You will notice that he's got 675 health at the moment. This is because his base health has been reduced to 575. So then when you add the 100 he gets for being the team anchor bonus, then that brings him up to 675. He also gets a buff to his E ability. So the cooldown on this is now only 6 seconds. So this is like a damage buff and a survivability nerf, but I still think he's going to be fine. Honestly, I'll be very surprised if he changes in any way in the meta. So if you're a Strange player, just be fine. I mean, Strange is unique in what he brings to the game, and he's just going to be strong, whatever. If you play him, keep playing him, honestly. Okay, Emma Frost, right? So she gets a nerf, but again, I don't really think this is much of a nerf. I tell you what I really like about Emma, though, is how fluid she is to play. Like, some of the tanks are kind of a bit clunky, but not Emma. She's super fluid. Anyway, what happens is her diamond form now, it's got, well, I'll read off the nerf, but basically, a diamond form it was 15 seconds, and now it's 18 seconds cooldown. So you've got less diamond form, you're less tanky, right? Nerf. And quite a big nerf, really, that is, if you think about it. Then they've changed the way her primary fire ramps damage on shields. So obviously, you know, when you're doing damage with it, you gain charge. This now only does 5 per second instead of 10. So a nerf overall. Nerf to damage when she's spamming shields, and nerf the rate she can keep using diamond form. Now, will this result in her being yeeted out of the meta? Again, I don't think it will. Like, you're probably getting the gist of this. A lot of these changes so far are just like, yeah, they're little balance changes. They're a little bit annoying. But the heroes are still going to be highly, and I mean highly effective. So I wouldn't really worry if you're an Emma Frost player. I still think she's going to be S tier, right? I think it's going to be very difficult to see her, like, moved out of that tier. Like, I don't think Angela has any impact on her. Again, it's this moment-to-moment like value we're talking about. With Emma, you've got it, right? You've just got less diamond form now. So watch the cooldown. There you go, 18 seconds. So, yeah, I think she'll be fine. So I think I put Penny in, like, B tier, maybe even C tier. I think she might have been C tier. Whatever tier she was in, I think she goes up a tier. I think she just becomes more effective. Again, she's settling more into her niche. Now, this is what the changes are for her. So enemies caught in Penny's webs are in for a stickier situation, they say. In her ultimate ability just got slightly more threatening. Whatever, that's the dev blur. But the changes are this. So the spider drone has got a new effect. It now slows hit enemies by 8% for 2 seconds. Each hit stacks, and the effect and resets the slow period, stacking for up to 40%. So this is really good because you've now got a slow on your little drones, right? Your little spider things. So this is nice. It makes it more effective. It's going to slow people down if they get hit by them, right? So they're going to be easy to kill for your team. Again, it makes you stronger in a niche. The other change is they've reduced spider drone release interval during the ultimate from 0.7 to 0.5. So that obviously means we're about to get our ultimate. Let's just farm our ultimate. In fact, I could have just ran over here and got it quicker, couldn't I? No, I believe in farming the ultimate. Let's go. Yeah, so obviously when you pop your ulti, you're going to spawn drones faster. It just makes the ultimate more effective, makes it do more damage, makes her stronger at what she does. I think there's like an interesting phenomenon with Penny where she tends to get banned quite a lot in lower ranks. Higher ranks, I don't think she sees too much play, especially compared to like Magneto and Emma Frost, you know, and all the meta tanks and Doctor Strange. So like, I think Penny's just better at what she does. She goes up a tier, but I mean, I think she's still pigeonholed into just one style of play. And again, like, you know, if you're on defense and you need to defend a point, yeah, she's great for that. But when the fight's getting a bit more flexible, it's a little bit more difficult. And again, we start talking about value, don't we? And we say, well, actually, you get more value if you just played, like, I don't know, an Emma Frost or something, right? Which, yeah. So I think she's better. She definitely wins and she will be stronger. I expect to see her go up on meta tier list. Okay, let's talk Thor. So I don't think much changes with Thor here. So all he gets is a movement buff during his ultimate, and when he hits targets with his ultimate, they're now stunned for 1 second. So the patch notes are as such. Increased movement speed during ultimate ability from 600 to 700, and after ultimate ability lands, stun surrounding enemies for 1 second. So if I pop this, I'm going to move quicker, and then he would have been stunned, but he was dead. It's fine. Like, I don't think this is going to be some giga buff to Thor. I think Thor is still going to be like on the weaker side, but again, like, and I've said this time and time again, I think I even said this in my patch notes video, it doesn't really matter. If you enjoy playing the heroes, just play the heroes, right? You get people who can take heroes that a lot of people consider to be bad up to the highest levels of the game, so just don't worry about it. But yeah, I think Thor, I don't think this is enough to like materially impact where he would be in tier list, but I think he's all right. But yeah. Okay, let's talk about Black Panther, because what they've done, this is like, so this is really interesting, right? They've nerfed his sort of survivability, but they've given him a team up. Now the team up, Gamma Vibranium armor, is actually decent, right? This kind of gives him back a bit more of his survivability that they're sort of taking away here in a nerf. But what they're doing is this, right? So Reduce bonus health gain when striking vibranium-marked enemies with Spirit Rend from 30 to 25, and reduce base health from 300 to 275. Now, I think the main thing here is that base reduction in health is actually quite a lot. Obviously, he gets bonus health, but that's been reduced from his abilities. But remember, he does get a team-up, and the team-up sort of makes up a little bit for his nerf. So I think, yes, he's nerfed. Would I drop him down in tier lists? Maybe, right? But if he's got that team-up ability, then no, I don't think I would. But if he doesn't have the team-up active, so if he doesn't have the required Hulk on the team, which, Hulk is probably going to get banned. So, I don't know. It's a difficult one for Panther. I think overall he is nerfed, though, so probably would knock him down a tier list. But I still think he's going to be really effective, especially if he's got that team-up ability. Right, let's talk about Blade, because I had Blade down as like bottom tier, and I'm really annoyed because I thought Blade would be pretty good, but it just didn't kind of turn out that way. Again, there's a problem where there's a load of other DPS, which is just, you get more value if you play them, and I go and play, it's a completely different era, but play like Human Torch, you get insane value, right? Hella, a lot more value. Obviously, Blade's more melee-centric, so maybe you could compare him to Magic and stuff like that, but I still think Magic was a much better hero than him, power level-wise. Anyway, this changed. The more I read this, the more I think, like, you know what? I think this actually could be quite good. So, and I think this might bump him up a tier list. So, up a tier in the tier list, I should say. So, increase Ancestral Sword damage per single slash from 22 to 25. Now, you might think, well, that's not that great, right? It actually is, because once you've got your fully buffed speed, because obviously you get attack speed to do damage. Look at this. This is now becoming like, imagine Blade chasing you down with this. This is like tons of damage. I feel like Blade here. Remember, Blade's got his anti-heal as well that he can apply to targets. So this is like, it's a sword buff. It's a melee damage buff. And I think it's actually quite a big buff. So I reckon I'm going to stop doing this, because as great as it looks, it sounds terrible. Just with the slashing going off. I think he's going up the tier list. I think he's going to be stronger. I think he's still going to suffer with. There's probably just better DPS to pick and play. But I think now he's becoming a lot more viable than he was. And I think this might be one of the better buffs in this patch in terms of just pumping up a character's power level. You guys let me know what you think about this though in the comments below. I know you guys don't have access to this, but you've probably seen other content creators messing around with the changes. But I think this one could be not flying under the radar, but I think this could be a bit stronger than most people think. I don't know. It's an interesting one. Okay, Magic. I'm going to say she goes up a tier, but also, even if she doesn't, she's just going to be a lot better to play. So I'm going to read them off, then I'm going to demonstrate what she does here, right? So she doesn't have a team-up anchor bonus, which is 15% damage boost, right? But instead of that, they've reduced, like she doesn't have that buff anymore, but they've reduced the time required for Magic Slash maximum damage from 1.8 to 1.2 seconds. That's the alternate fire. Magic Slash has got a new effect. The projectile now pierces enemies and reduces step-in disc cooldown by 1 second per enemy pierced. They've increased the Soul Sword damage from 65 to 75. They've increased Demon's Rage damage from 18 to 20. Increased the Eldritch Whirl from 45 to 50. Increased melee normal damage attack from 30 to 40. And during Darkchild, the ultimate ability, increased Eldritch Whirl single hit damage from 35 to 45. And Umbral Incursion damage from 135 to 140. So they've basically took 15% damage off her, then gave her that back and a little bit more, and then gave her a new ability, which lets her movement ability cool down quicker if you hit enemies. She's going to be really good, right? I think she's going to be really, really good. So basically, if I pop both my movement, both of them, and then I go like that. See, I've got another one. Let me do that again, because that was trash. Because I was summoning my demon as I was trying to charge my thingy up. All right, so I've got two. Got two. I'm going to pop one, pop a demon. Pop one, let's pop a demon. Then I'm going to charge this up. Look at my thingy. There we go. And I've got another one ready to go. So obviously, it requires you to hit targets, but this makes you a lot more mobile. And obviously, everything's doing more damage. This just seems like... It seems like a really good change, because I think, like... I'm going to cough. I apologise. I'm going to try and mute this, but sometimes my microphone don't mute. I hope that muted. If it didn't, I apologise. And I should have removed it in editing as well. If I haven't, I'm a terrible editor. Anyway, like I'm saying, a lot of the sort of like 1v1 scenarios where, if you're moving around and, you're trying to do whatever, and then you're like, oh no, I'm in a 1v1 situation. Even just hitting, see the time it takes for me to charge up the attack and then throw it at the enemy gives me another portal to jump through. So in a 1v1 scenario, if you can hit that alternate fire, I actually think that it's going to be quite good. Like, so if I go for the alternate fire now, look, watch, boom, I've got it again. And then that would allow me to summon another demon or whatever I want to do. Generally demons in the 1v1 scenarios. Although sometimes you do go for the slash. So I think there's a lot going on here with Magic. And I think she's just... I don't know, maybe she's better than I've... The problem is in Magic, you can play around her. You can play other heroes that counter her. But if she's not countered, if she can get away with just doing whatever she wants, she's now going to be way better at doing that. So I think... Yeah, I think she's stronger. I think this is a really big buff. I'm going to be surprised if we don't see more of her getting played. What do I think of Moon Knight? This is a funky one, right? Because this is just, it's a dead simple change. You've got 2 alternate fires now. That's literally it. But that's really strong because obviously, you know, you can yeet these. Okay, died. He had no elf. Typical. But you've got 2. So you've got 2 massive Moon Knight projectiles you can launch, which obviously is like... This is just better. This is just straight up. He's got better DPS. It's such a simplistic change, really. And I think this could be one of those that just makes him... Because basically, again, it's just going to make him much better at what he already does, which is if people ignore the Ankh and ignore you, you can just now chuck 2 of these bad boys in, and you're just doing more. You're doing more damage. You've got a straight-up buff. It's simple, but I think it makes him stronger. Do I think it takes him up a tier list? I don't know. I don't think so. Up a tier in the tier list. I keep saying upper tier list. He's not going to go upper tier list, is he? Well, you know what I mean? So I don't know about this one. I think it's obviously a buff. He's obviously just going to do more damage because he's got 2 massive ones. Jock! Right, Psylocke is S tier, and she still is S tier, right? Her burst damage is still going to be bonkers. Anyone who is a Psylocke main, they're just still going to carry on. But there's a nerf here, right? So you've got to be aware of this. So the alternate fire, when you throw the shurikens and when you recall them, the damage is actually less now. So this is the change. Decrease the retrieve damage of winged shurikens per hit from 12 to 8. So you do less. So obviously if I chuck these down here, then I pull them back, that's less damage. But obviously you've still got incredible amounts of damage. What is going on with my sense? It's like completely bonkers here. Oh, I know what this is. I've messed with my settings from playing Overwatch. That's what I've done. Anyway, you do less damage, right? But I don't think it's going to matter. See my mouse has a spaz. I took my hand off it. What the hell? But she's still going to be S tier. I'm going to find it very hard for her not to be S tier with this level of nerf. I don't think it's enough. I still think she can put out quite enough damage to deal with most threats. And obviously, she's stupid in mobile. And her ultimate is still really good. Because if there's no defensive ultimate ready to go, guess what? She's just going to absolutely wreck you. And that's the way she rolls. Did I straight up miss them shurinkens then? I think I did. Oh, yeah. Still going to be good. Okay, Wanda gets buffed, but I think this is still memes, right? I don't think Wanda's going to be, like, propelled to the highest levels of meta and she's going to be everywhere. It's all memes, right? So on paper, she's got the biggest damage increase that's ever been added in the game, right? So this is what they've done to her. She can now be healed during this. So when you do Mystic Projection, you can be healed by your teammates. Increased reality erases damage from 800 to 9,999. That means there are some breakpoints with this, so it means that Groot can no longer survive. He will just be deleted from her ultimate, right? He's gone. There's some other things as well, but basically you will die now. If you're caught in the ultimate, you are dead, unless you've got some sort of an ability. I think Adam Warlock's Link might keep you alive, possibly. I think you end up with 1 HP or something like that. So, yeah, but you're basically dead now, right? So it's a massive damage buff. The other change to this is it now pulls enemies towards you when you use it. So if I just go over here and grab it, I should have just changed the cooldowns, but I only really want to show you this once. It now pulls enemies towards you. So it's got a 15-meter radius as well, and the max pull speed is 2.4 meters per second. Obviously, if you're resistant to crowd control, you know, if you're using movement abilities to try and get out of this, you're going to get away, right? But it's just, you can see how it pulls them around. So yeah, I think this is just more of like a meme update. It's going to be annoying because she is going to be able to wipe out, you know, when she gets chucked through, you know, when you yeet Wanda through a Doctor Strange portal straight onto the point and she's got her ultimate ready to go, everybody is dead. Like, unless, like I said, you've got like Adam Warlock or some sort of funkiness with invulnerability or whatever going on, she's just going to kill you now. So I don't think it's going to make a crazy powerful, though, so she's still going to be Wanda. Squirrel Girl, she actually gets quite a big nerf here. So her acorns now only do 100 damage per hit instead of 110. So that's quite a big nerf when you think, you know, you're spamming these in a fight. The other thing as well is her reload has been nerfed. So I'm going to just waste some ammo and I'm going to pop it. So you're going to watch the cooldown now of this is actually, let me just read off what they've changed it to. So the cooldown has been changed to 15 seconds from, and it actually used to be 10. So that's a massive nerf. You think you've got way less ammo because you can't forcibly reload. You're doing 10 less damage per acorn, and you do get a little bit of a buff to set this off. So your alternate fire now does 50 damage on impact. I think this is quite a big nerf to Squirrel Girl. I think she's definitely going to suffer the most out of these DPS changes in Season 4. If you are a Squirrel Girl main, though, let me know what you think about this. But I think overall, it's just a nerf. Every aspect of her really has been nerfed. Her consistent damage output is nerfed. And, I don't know, maybe you should start playing a bit more Moon Knight, given he's been buffed a little bit. I don't know. But I still think Squirrel Girl's better than Moon Knight. But, yeah, she's been nerfed here quite heavily. Right, Bucky. So, basically, Bucky on second hit on his dash, it now stuns targets for 1 second. This is going to allow him to, well, try and combo you with his primary fire. It's okay, right? It's fine. The official patch notes say this. Trooper's Fist, new effect. Second Strike now applies a 1 second debuff to enemies hit, preventing them from using mobility abilities. So I should say it's not stun. It just stops them using a movement ability so they can't dash out and do whatever. I don't think this does much to him, really. I mean, it's going to make him better in 1v1 scenarios, because if this guy wanted to move... Yeah, my sense is totally screwed. But if he wanted to move... then he's not going to be able to move because, well, you've slapped him. And you've got 1 second to land that hit. So, I don't think this really does much for Bucky, though. All right, I've been messing with my sense because this is garbage. Like, what's going on here? Look,
that was a total blindside.
Anyway, I need to really dial this in. But let's talk about Invisible Woman. So, this is what she gets, right? Let me just explain this. So, increased slow effect to enemies that pass through Guardian Shield. So, when you deploy a shield on an ally, if an enemy goes through that, they're now slow by 35% instead of 30. Increase invisible boundary. This is the ultimate ability, healing per second from 165 to 180, because we all love massive healing circles. And there's a new effect. It slows enemies within range by 20%. So, this is buff for Invisible Woman. She's already a top tier support. I would say she's probably behind the likes of, well, she's behind like Luna. I mean, I wouldn't take her as that, but again, I still think she's highly effective. I still think this is just, they're just, I don't know why they've done this to her. Like, they're just making her stronger here. So if you do play Invisible Woman, you're just going to be better. That's all I can really say. She's just better, straight up. So I think she remains... like, in my head, she's between, like, A and S tier. That's how I would sort of place her, but she's still incredibly good. All right, let's talk about Jeff, because this does nothing to Jeff in terms of his meta impact. This just makes it, once again, like I said in my patch notes video, they're never going to escape the allegations of they just keep adding circles that have got healing for strategist ultimates, and that's what they're doing to Jeff. So basically, his ultimate now leaves a pool behind wherever you spawn it, and that pool... heals for, and it's quite good healing actually. It's 100 per second, which is pretty good healing. But I don't think, oh my god, I threw them so far. But I don't think Jeff is going to change too much. He's going to remain where he is in the meta. There's just supports in the game that have got much better kits than Jeff, which is the harsh reality. But like I said, if you enjoy Jeff, then play him. Don't listen to what idiots tell you on the internet. Games are about fun, not just playing whatever because some YouTuber's told you whatever, or some streamer. So yeah, Jeff. Yeah. All right, we need to come over here for Loki, because Loki's change is a bit like... what we're going to do is I already had one out. I'm going to spawn my two clones, and I'm going to start doing damage. Now, what's happened here is Loki... I had Loki as like an S tier strategist and support. I think he goes down tiers because these changes are quite strong. So what he's got here is reduce illusions damage and healing ratio from 100% to 80%. That's a 20% nerf on the healing and the damage output from his clones. Reduce God of Mischief's ultimate ability. God of Mischief, which is the ultimate ability. Shapeshift period from 15 seconds to 12 seconds. If using an active duration ability, so for example, Luna Snow's ultimate ability, reduce shapeshift residual period after the ability ends from 5 to 3 seconds. So what that means is if you start cloning targets, I mean, again, I'll I'll go over here and I'll show you, and I'll select Luna into this. Where are you, Luna? If I grab Luna and then I pop her ulti,
I am ready to put on a show.
you'll see what I've just explained on the screen. So this is a nerf for Loki, but it's not really his ultimate. Well, it's a pretty big nerf, but it's not really the ultimate which I've got the biggest issue with. I think it's the fact that his illusions now are just going to be...
I'm gone.
They're just not going to be good. Because, 20% is a big reduction. So, I think even more so, obviously, you want to target the clones and take them out when you're fighting against the Loki. But, like, you also... Like, by doing that now, they're just less effective, right? So you're going to target his clones, take them out. If he doesn't have them on the field, he's way less effective anyway. But with him on the field, he's a lot less effective. So it's a big nerf, I think, for Loki. Again, we're going to need to wait and see how this plays out. But I do think if you're a Loki main, you are getting a pretty heavy nerf here. So do be aware, you'll probably be doing quite a lot less healing and damage. Okay, Luna Snow. This is it's good that she's getting nerfed, but her ulti is just... I mean, she's my most played support. And her ulti is just diabolical in this game. So they've nerfed it by 2 seconds. It now lasts for 10 seconds, doesn't it? Instead of 12, which 10 seconds is an absolute age in this game. You know, I think there's other things they could do with this. Like, maybe it could deplete faster if she's doing more healing, you know, or it's got some sort of limit to its healing output. But again, you could say that Rivals probably needs to do that across its whole sort of circular healing ultimate, because you're a strategist thing. So this, I don't know, this doesn't affect Luna at all. Like 2 seconds is literally nothing. If you're playing Luna, you're still an S tier support. You're still going to be needed. There's something wrong with my mouse. There's actually something wrong with this, because it didn't move then. This Logitech mouse did an update before I started recording this as well. The Logitech Armory or whatever it's called updated. I think it shafted me. But anyway, Luna Snow's fine. She's still the best support. So yeah, Luna Snow. So the Mantis change is actually quite nice, right? So Mantis gets... so her passive obviously kicks in when she doesn't take any damage. Now, before, if you took damage, the passive was instantly end. That was it. You didn't have the movement speed. Now there's a 2-second delay. So if I take a shot by this guy, do 1, 2, and now it's gone. So, and you can see it basically came back almost immediately when I take the hit. So I'll show you that again. Take the hit. Come on, shoot me. 1, 2... and then it's back in again. Now, this actually has got pretty big implications for Mantis. It means that you're going to be... If you instantly take damage and you're being dove upon, you do have more of a response than just trying to, like, stun them and kill them, which can still be quite effective. It just makes you more survivable, which I think is a nice little change. Is this going to propel Mantis up the tier lists? I don't think so. It's nice. It's a nice... I was going to say it's a quality of life change. It's more than a quality of life change. I think this is... a decent little change and probably a much requested change for Mantis. So yeah, I think she's okay. Nice little change. All right, so Ultron. Again, like Ultron is one of my favorite supports to play. I just like the sort of hybrid damage and then focusing on a little bit of support. Oh, he's dead. I was out of range. I think he's got a nice playstyle. But again, you don't want him, like, if you've only got 2 strategists in your team, you don't want to be playing Ultron. You're going to suffer with lack of healing. Sometimes you can put out decent healing numbers. It just depends what the enemy team are doing. But overall, you wouldn't want, like, Luna Snow and Ultron. That wouldn't be a great combination. You want, like, maybe a bit more healing. It can work. Like, everything can work. But if you go for triple strategist, then obviously Ultron becomes really good. Anyway, the buff to him just means that his ultimate now... I can't show you this here because these guys don't have over health or bonus health. But it now does 125% damage to bonus health. So he's going to be able to shred through bonus health really fast. So yeah, I don't think this affects him in the tier list. I think he is, in some ways, very similar to Angela, where Angela's going to be... And even Penny, really, in some respects. Maybe you could say Moon Knight as well. Whereas, like, Penny's really good in certain scenarios. I think Angela's going to be really good on certain maps. And I think, just because she can yeet people off the map, I think Ultron is going to be still really strong if you want to go triple strategist. But when it's double strategist, it can work. But it's a little bit more difficult. You're not getting a healing buff here or anything like that. Although, like I said, Ultron can still put out some pretty good numbers, but he doesn't have that, like, burst save potential. He does with his ultimate. When he doesn't have that, you know, you really struggle, whereas like a Luna Snow, you know, you can pump healing when it's required. Okay, I think I'm going to leave the video at that. I'm not going to bring up the tier list. I'm not going to edit that. I just wanted to do this because I think it's worth a discussion above and beyond just reading patch notes off and going, these are the changes. Because how could this affect the heroes? How could this affect the game? And what heroes should you be looking at playing going into Season 4? I don't think, you know, there's been major changes. There's not been like, you know, if you maybe Magic on, you could say, and even I think Blade to some extent are going to be a lot better than they were. But like if you're a Lunar Snow player, you're still going to be a Lunar Snow player. You're still going to be stupidly effective. Because I think if they want to nerf her ultimate duration, it needs to be something like 6 seconds or 8 seconds maximum. Because 10 is still a lot. 12 was obviously crazy. So yeah. All right, let me know what you think about this, guys, in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this style of video, it's more of a relaxed video, but I do like, you know, giving a bit of a deep dive. I know it's not an ultra like high level deep dive take. I think those days are probably beyond me of being like ultra top tier whatever. They're probably long behind me. But I think, you know, most players probably share the same opinions, and I think we can, I don't know, work together and come to some conclusions. But anyway, all right, guys, thanks for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed that. You can follow me on everything, which is @Stylosa, and I'll catch you lot on the next video. See you soon.